Let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. That's how Maria, Julie Andrews, starts her Do Re Mi song in The Sound of Music. If you're writing a pilot sitcom script, what could be a better way to introduce the audience to the characters at the beginning, following around the main character on their first day at work? Sounds like a good idea? Wrong. No. Please don't do this. As far as writing a sitcom is concerned, it's terrible advice. Do me a favour, Maria. Take a guitar, climb a mountain. So long, farewell, Auf Wiedersehen. Good night. Do I sound a little tetchy on this? Well, that's probably because since the beginning of this year, I've read over 3,500 pages of sitcom scripts. And this is a very, very common plot, a very common way of starting your sitcom pilot. And I'm urging you not to do it. It's their first day. The characters nervously standing around outside giving themselves that pep talk before stepping into their new place of work. Or worse, we start with a ringing alarm beside the bedside table and a character floundering around trying to get ready for their first day, shouting at their partner or their kids, kicking the cat, and then running not to be late on their first day. Or, worse still, they're applying for a job at which they get to explain their backstory, and then they get the job, and then it's their first day. Why am I taking exception to this whole first day thing? What's the problem? Well, one might think that one reason to be against it is that everyone else is doing it, and that's not good for you. March to the beat of a different drum. Be the odd one out. Zig while the world is zagging. After all, we had nearly 1,000 scripts for our Sitcom Geeks competition. You want to stand out. Well, that's true enough. When a huge number of scripts are starting the same way, the reader of the script, who is a human being, remember, is going to groan. But the reason not to start your script with a protagonist turning up to their first day at work is this. Your protagonist is going to be passive. This is a serious problem. In a sitcom, we need to see the hero making choices. In fact, that's not unique to sitcom, that's in drama, in novels, in movies. That is how character is revealed, through action, through the character making choices. Those choices which bring chaos and conflict, and with a bit of luck, a following wind and several rewrites, some comedy. How were you on the first day at work? I'll tell you how. You were nice to everyone. You were on your best behaviour. You were not like yourself. So unless your protagonist is a maniac or a psychopath, they're going to be terribly nice to everyone while they're guided from room to room being introduced to members of the team one after the other. We're not going to find out what they are really like. The reader needs to know what the character is like because she's got 100 other scripts to read that day. The viewer needs to know because they've got some serious options when it comes to watching something else if they're bored. So my advice, having read a lot of sitcom scripts in the last 2 months, would be this. Avoid pilot sitcom scripts where it's the main character's first day. Now, you might be screaming the names of sitcoms at the screen which do exactly that. Fine, we might get onto those. In fact, I've written 2 sitcoms where it is a first day for one of the characters, but I'm going to justify those at some point in the future on another video. So where have we got to? It's a grindingly common tactic to have your character on their first day at work. Your script needs to stand out. And also it's a bad idea because your character is going to be passive. They're going to be on their best behaviour as well. But here is the third reason to avoid a first day at work pilot plot. All of your other characters are going to be funnier than your passive lead character who's wandering around the office, wondering what they've gotten themselves into and being nice to everybody. You don't want the lead character to be the least funny character in the room. Let's say your lead protagonist is called Deborah and she's being shown around the office on her first day at work. Scene 1 is the obligatory pep talk to herself outside. Don't do that. Scene 2 at reception where she's polite to the receptionist, let's call her Alice, who is engrossed in a video call with her sister who is trying to choose her wedding dress. Oh, that's already quite interesting. And she's not paying any attention to Deborah. Eventually she does. She passes Deborah on to Jake, who's having a huge long-running battle with the photocopier and declared war on it. Then Deborah meets Megan and Val. Let's say they're having a long-standing feud with each other over office plants, which is now escalating to the point where one part of the office looks like it's a jungle. And then Deborah is surprised that her boss, Clem, is trying different swimming costumes on for the conference next month, which happens to be in Hawaii. Okay, it's at least page 10. It's probably page 15 by now. Deborah has done nothing but react. She is passive. And who's the funniest character so far? Answer? Not Deborah. Deborah is boring. So we're off to a bad start on our pilot sitcom script. Alice, Jake, Megan, Val and Clem already sound funnier than the lead character who's nervously greeting people on their first day. That's a problem. So let's take some action. As a script editor or development producer, let's say I'm looking at this pilot script saying, well, actually, this is quite an interesting world and maybe it would work if you just get rid of Deborah. I like Alice, Jake, Megan, Val and Clem. Lose Deborah. Well, you might have one of two replies to that if you're the writer of the script. Reply number 1, you say, yeah, wow, Deborah is really boring. I guess she was useful to begin with to get it going, but actually she's not necessary. Cut. Great. Solution number 1, Deborah deleted, script gets rewritten, and we're into it. Reply number 2, you say, but the whole show is about Deborah and her journey. Well, we have a problem there, and one is an existential problem about what a sitcom actually is, and we'll get to that in a future video. But the main issue here is a comic problem. This first day storyline is preventing Deborah from being active and funny. Solution 2A, your solution might be to have Deborah apply for that job and make her more active. No, wrong. That solution's even worse than the problem. We're going backwards. Your character needs to be pointing forwards. What do they want? What is their goal? What are they trying to get out of life? Okay, we don't like solution 2A. Solution 2B, fast forward. Deborah's been there for 6 months, or maybe it's her first anniversary of having been there, and she's thinking, how on earth did I get here? Something like that. Even better, solution 2C, just have a regular episode based on her character and her situation. Jake's plotting the demise of the photocopier, Megan and Val have some kind of foliage turf war going on, and Deborah is concerned that her boss's trip to Hawaii is going to be a huge problem for her, and she has to put them off going. Clear goal, stop boss going to Hawaii. Great. Okay, so next time we'll have a think about why Alice, Jake, Megan, Val and Clem sound funnier than Deborah and what we can learn from that. If you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you have, why don't you subscribe, but also, even better, join the Situation Room mailing list, which is free, and you get details of loads of free videos that I've hidden away on the internet, tutorials, updates, discounts, and lots of other treats too. There's a link below. See you there.